morning, Dr. Rufai and Ayo. Of course, this is a very big day, one of the biggest days in the Nigerian judicial calendar. Of course, we're going to be having the justices, the 5-member panel headed by Justice Haruna Samani, deliver its decision on the petitions challenging the outcome of the presidential election, which INEC had declared Bola Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress winner. Of course, we know Atiku Abubakar of the PDP and Peter Obi of the Labour Party headed straight to the Presidential Election Petition Court, challenging the outcome on grounds of the election being held in breach of the Electoral Act, in their view, and of course in breach of elections, INEC's own electoral guidelines. Of course, the stage is set, and of course we're going to have the judges give their take on the merits, or as it were, the merits of the petitions of these two men. The stage is set. Security operatives are, carrying out thorough security checks at the Presidential Election Petition Court venue. Premises, the most guarded facility in the country as we speak. All eyes on the judiciary is a popular hashtag. All eyes on the judiciary is a popular narrative, and the court has, in a more dramatic twist and a more dramatic turn of events, seem to have made the eyes even bigger by allowing cameras in the courtroom to afford every Nigerian the opportunity to witness the court's proceedings from start to finish. So the cameras are set already in the courtroom. Unprecedented event, if you ask me. Unprecedented development, if you ask me. So we're going to see how this will pan out, or if this may just be a start of what is to come in Nigeria's jurisprudence, or perhaps this may just be a one-off experience. Dr. Rufai and Ayo.
Well, Godfrey, good morning, and it's good to see you and to see that Arise News is effectively on the ground there to report to the entire world the proceedings from the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal coming up exactly 100 days after President Tinubu assumed office. You've talked about security, but how about arrivals? And when is the proceeding likely to commence? And what's the atmosphere generally there? Are the lawyers already arriving? Are the judges already arriving? The court officials who have been accredited by the registrar of the Court of Appeal, have they also arrived? What is the situation now? When should Nigerians expect proceedings to commence?
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. We're not clear on when the proceedings will commence, but what we are looking at, we're looking at anything from 10 a.m. most likely, but we're not clear on the official time. And of course, for the atmosphere right now, it's a bit somewhat tense or subdued, if you ask me. Well, the politicians are arriving. I've seen a party bigwig from the Labour Party already in the court. The lawyers are arriving in trickles. Security operatives are all over the place, like I said earlier. As for the judges, whether they are here or not, I'm pretty much sure they are already in their chambers. But of course, when they come in, they take the back entrance. They don't come in like every other person does. So the situation right here is building up, and it's picking up pace as it is. Of course, many Nigerians are eagerly waiting. The lawyers are anticipating, fireworks in the courtroom today. Of course, in a positive sense, if you ask me. Lawyers are heading into the courtrooms, the security operatives are at their duty posts doing what they need to do, the DSS officials, the police, anti-riot policemen, and plainclothes security operatives are on ground doing their job as they need to. And of course, the journalists, our constituents, they are also at their position preparing for what is to be Nigeria's, one of Nigeria's biggest days, like playing a World Cup final, if you ask me. So Nigerians are keenly waiting to see how the events will pan out today.
All right, talk about it looking like a World Cup final. There are reports that some people have decided to gather in certain places to watch the live proceedings. Aside that, do you think the NLC strike, has it had any impact on people moving about, on movement in Abuja, as it impacts on the delivery of judgment today?
Well, the NLC strike hasn't impacted. Of course, we had thought they were supposed to picket the venue of the Election Petition Court judgment, that's the appeal court. But of course, that hasn't happened yet. I must say, I must stress yet, because when we were at the Federal High Court yesterday, we were in there doing a few things, preparation to today's event, and then before we left, they had, placed a strike notice on the board, on the gate, at the gate of the court, indicating that that is out of bounds. As for whether the effect of the NSA strike is being felt in the Federal Capital Territory, I will say a big no to a large extent. But of course, I can't say if this is about the NSA strike or not, but one thing I can clearly tell you is that there were barricades of military checkpoints on our way from the busiest part of Abuja, if you ask me, from Abuja, access of Nasarawa and Abuja, that's Maraba, Nyanya area. There were there were 2 or 3 checkpoints on the road leading to this the central area, central business district of Abuja. So the traffic build-up there is quite massive. You can call it Carmageddon if you like. It's quite massive. You see traffic building up kilometers with people having to leave their vehicles to walk distances to get to their workplaces in the central business district in Abuja. So as for the effects of the NLC strike, it's not as effective as you would have wanted in terms of whether it will affect these proceedings here. It's not as effective as it should be for now as it is, but as for the effect, it's hard to tell if it's very effective, but well, we're still watching to see how it will pan out. But one other thing, someone told me yesterday that nurses in solidarity had to leave their duty posts to, because of the ongoing NLC strike. That's about the most effective point I can point out with respect to the ongoing NLC strike. Other than that, the effect is not as impactful as one would have expected right here in the FCT.
Okay. So a couple of things. What time are we going to start proceedings today? Exact time. We're hearing 9, we're hearing 10. What are you hearing from Phyllis? The various parties involved, have you been able to talk to any of them? Their expectations leading up to this. Another question will be as regards crowd control and people. I hear they want to reduce the crowd around there. So that's why they say they will be beaming it live and all of that. So are people gathering? Are supporters gathering around there? Let's hear through all of this. But what time precisely does it start? That we can say, okay, we'll beam live and they see it and they push.
Tentatively, we're looking at 10 a.m. for time to kick off. 10 a.m. tentatively, but we can't say for sure. 10 a.m. most likely the court will start proceedings. As for whether people are gathering around the premises, protesting or whatever, I can hear from where I'm standing chants and singing, from supporters of the Niger Delta group led by Asari Dokubo, a strong supporter of the Nigerian president, the former presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, who, of course, is in the eye of the storm with respect to these petitions that will be heard or whose decision will be delivered today. So that's about the gathering so far within the court, around the court premises, because, of course, any gathering close to the court premises is of course, can't work because of the strong security presence right here to ensure there's no breakdown of law and order.
Well, very quickly, let me ask you, is it possible for you to talk to anybody around the court premises so that we get a real feel of what is going on in locus? If we could just talk to anybody around you there.
Well, getting so... Yes, of course. There's nobody close by except for some security operatives to my left, and then, of course, far away to the gate, other security operatives are there too. Nobody close by right now. Of course, everybody's trying to get their seats because there's going to be limited seats. I'm standing here now, I'm actually concerned about getting my place in the courtroom because the court already have people outside waiting to find their way in to get seated. So I, for one, getting someone to speak now is quite an uphill task.
But is it possible? Is it possible for the cameraman? Is it possible for the cameraman to just pan around, just to show us the environment for us to see? Beyond just talking to you alone. Yes.
Yes, he will.
Okay.
He will. All right. So pan around. So just show. So he's going to show you the security operatives just behind me. You see, that's the vehicle which the DSS are using to screen people who are entering the courtroom. Those are the vehicles, metal scanners, and all that. That is the vehicle of the State Broadcasting Service, National Broadcasting Service. And DSS operatives, you can see them packed. You can see their vehicle packed right there. And then to the left, you will see the gates where the security operatives are clearing people who are coming in. You can pan a bit to the EOD and all that. Just you can see vehicles and all that outside, gaining entrance. So it's quite strict. So you have to have a pass to access the court premises. So that's how strict it is. From where we are, you can get just a sneak peek into the pictures of the security operatives, finding their way, screening vehicles that are coming in, and they're coming in their numbers, and there are still many others awaiting screening as we await. It's going to be a very, very, very big day at the Court of Appeal, where the Presidential Election Petition Court will be holding its sitting.